Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled to introduce the PlayStation 4.
For the first time, let me now unveil Xbox.
Our next generation portable is officially named PlayStation Vita.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Xbox One.
Well, the wait is over. This is Nintendo DS.
So today, welcome to the world of Wii U.
Welcome to episode 9 of the 411, folks. We haven't been here for nearly 3 weeks, but we're back recording. Feels good to be back.
Hasn't been that long, has it?
Well, yeah, nearly 3 weeks. I think it's been 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be doing this episode a little bit different. It's not going to follow our same sort of schedule. We've sort of canned all the segments for this episode. Just because we're sort of in between houses at the moment. I'm moving house, and until that's all set up, we'll go back to sort of our normal recording thing, just because of the way we're recording with just your computer, and it's not on my computer to edit. So we're just canning all the segments and just doing some topics. And this episode is just going to be all about Nintendo. Looking forward to it.
Yeah? I can talk about Nintendo a lot.
Yeah, we could even do like this for the next 3 weeks until I move. Or 2 weeks.
Sure. Easy.
So, literally this episode is just going to, we're just going to have a few topics about Nintendo. And, we'll start with the first one, which is a pretty major topic. And we'll spend quite a bit on this topic, probably most of the episode. It's how much life does the 3DS and the Wii U have left in them? And I think to answer that question, we need to look at the upcoming games for both systems. So we'll start with the 3DS. So how much life does the 3DS have left in it? First of all, do you want to just say what you think?
Sure. Oh, I go now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's tough because for both systems, it's tough. At the moment, you can't see an end to it yet. At the same time, you feel like the end is coming. Just only because so little has been said about the next system. But okay, saying that, but I still feel like out of these two current Nintendo systems, the 3DS is the one that will see the longest life left.
Yeah.
Only because of its previous success and the amount of new games still yet to come. Even the list I can see right in front of me, compared to the list we've got coming up for the Wii U, it's probably triple the size.
Yeah.
Personally, I know your 3DS is your system. It's your thing. Mine too, I guess. I've had a lot of fun with it. I would hate to see it just end once the NX has been... it comes out, I suppose. 3DS. I like to see the 3DS continue to evolve and grow like it has over the past 5 years or whatever it's been. And still, again, looking at these games coming up, these are mammoth games.
Yeah. We'll go through the games list first, but just before we do that, I just want to talk about the previous systems. When the first Game Boy came out, it was released in 1989. It lasted 12 years, but that includes Game Boy Color as well. And then Game Boy Advance came out. That lasted 3 years. DS came out. That lasted 7 years. And now we're into the 3DS, which has so far lasted 5. I'd really like to see at least another 2 years for the 3DS. But in terms of sales for those systems, the original Game Boy, which lasted 12 years... sold 118 million copies, or million systems. That's its second most selling system, where the Nintendo DS, which lasted 7 years, 5 years less than the Game Boy, sold 154 million copies, which is 36 million more than the original Game Boy. So, and like I said, the Nintendo Wii, that's their most highest selling console. So who can really blame them for this generation just making direct sequels to the DS, which is the 3DS, and a direct sequel to the Wii, which is the Wii U?
Yeah.
Who can really blame? Back then, they were money-making machines. No one could predict that the 3DS and the Wii U would be their lowest-selling systems, because the 3DS only has sold 57 million.
You're right.
That's 100 million less than the DS.
I mean, yeah, you're right in saying that a sequel was a good move. You know, I suppose in hindsight, it seemed like a good move. It's just, I really just can't see the problem in that there's this where the drop comes off, like where people just stop playing Nintendo games. Like,
I truly think it's just because there's not much of a difference between the DS and 3DS. Like, to us there is, because we're fans of it, we can see the huge difference. But to just average consumers, there really isn't much of a difference. It sort of looks the same. If you look at the Game Boy and then the Game Boy Advance, 118 million copies sold of the Game Boy, and then 81 million of the Game Boy Advance. That's a huge drop as well, because there is a slight difference between the consoles, but there isn't that much of a difference. But then when you go to the Nintendo DS, a massive difference. It's a whole new console, and that's where the huge sales came from. I just think that if they are going to do a new handheld, it needs to be something completely different. They can't just do the dual screens again. It needs to be something completely different. Otherwise, they're not going to sell as much. That's just just from looking at the sales figures. That's what I've noticed. To get those big sales, you need to do something completely different.
Yeah. In a way, though, 3DS was completely different. Sure, it had the same look and feel, and whatever. But around the time Wii and 3DS, Nintendo were taking trends to the next level. Motion control was a big thing.
Did they not have that in the original DS?
What?
The gyro.
No.
So there are three main differences between the original console, which is you got joystick, gyro controls, and 3D.
Yeah.
But 3D and gyro is not a physical difference. And for an average consumer, you're looking at a physical difference. Because if you already have a Nintendo DS, say, a 40 to 50-year-old parent buying something for their kid, you might already think, oh, they've already got this. This could be just a newer version.
Yeah.
You need something that looks different, I think.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, same can be said with Wii and Wii U.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's just confusing for the average consumer.
Yeah, and then you get into the whole new Nintendo 3DS, new Nintendo 3DS XL. Like, you go to a shop and there's 5 different 3DS.
And that might work in Japan, but it just doesn't translate well over here.
Yeah.
For us. So, let's look at the games. And so I've been to heaps of different websites, and I've made a list of 30 upcoming 3DS games still yet to arrive.
Okay.
Some of these games are already out in Japan and America, so this is for Australia.
Okay.
Okay. And I can say that all of these games I'm actually excited for. I actually have 21 games myself, but this is 30 games that I would consider getting. That's more than what I actually have over the past 5 years. So I really believe that Nintendo 3DS, their best games are yet to come. So let's start with a list. I'm just going to read the list, and I'll stop if I want to say something about the game. Just stop me if you want to say something about it as well. Mm-hmm. So the first 3 games are Fire Emblem, Birthright, Conquest, and Revelations.
We've talked a lot about it.
We've talked a lot about it, yeah. That's due to come very soon, but it's already out everywhere else. Yeah. So we're still waiting for it. Kirby Planet Robobot, just another Kirby game. That's something that I'm not going to get because I've got Triple Deluxe and it looks basically the same.
A lot of gameplay footage has been coming out from that game already. I actually haven't seen any of it, but it seems like the kind of game that they're really trying to push.
Yeah. They always try to do that with sort of the Kirby games, and it's good though.
Yeah. Kirby always seems really underrated. Yeah. Unfortunately.
The next one is Zero Time Dilemma, which is a game that I didn't really know anything about, so I did look it up. And this is the 3rd game in a franchise. The first one was called 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then the second one was released in DS. The second one's called Zero. Hold on, I've got it here. somewhere. Zero Escape.
Cool.
Zero Escape. Oh, Virtue's Last Reward. That's it. Yeah. Okay. And I looked up like a 15-minute review of this game, and I immediately put it on my list of 3DS games to buy because it looks amazing.
What kind of game is it?
So this game is not for younger kids. It's for mature audiences. It's literally you wake up in a room. You've been kidnapped, just like Saw. How Saw movies start. You wake up in a room, right? And then this little puppet thing comes on screen saying, "I want to play a game." This is just like Saw. And literally for the next 40 hours, because that's how long it takes to finish the game, you are solving puzzles to try and get out of the room because you're wearing this watch. And if you fail to solve a puzzle, this little poison thing comes out and just poisons you and you die. So it's literally just like Saw, and a bit like Professor Layton because of all the puzzles you have to solve. You have to go to these different rooms, and it takes about an hour to solve each room. You get trapped in these rooms, and you have to figure out ways to get out of the room. So you're clicking on everything and trying to solve different ways to get out of it. It looks intense.
So
it looks awesome.
You know, they have those like panic puzzle room things. They have
yeah.
That you can go and participate in. Is it kind of, I suppose, like that?
Similar, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I straight away put it on my list of games to get, and this Zero Time Dilemma is the third game of the series, which is about to come out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well.
You think it's weird that they, for me, I haven't heard anything about this. I've heard the name, I just haven't seen it.
Just one of those very underrated games, I think. Because I looked at reviews and everyone's giving it, 9s, 8s.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't know what. Maybe it's just because it is the 3DS and it's sort of a kids system, and this game is mature audiences. Sort of games like that usually tend to fall under the radar.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like that Resident Evil game that came out very early on. Nobody really talks about that, but apparently it was a really good Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
So, next one, Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Well, I'm really excited for this one.
Which console would you get it on?
Wii U, for
Yeah,
sure.
Wii U, yeah.
But,
I like how they do release it on the 3DS as well.
Yeah.
Just like the Jurassic World one and the Harry Potter ones.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've physically owned a Lego game, and this one I'm sure will get me right back into it.
Yeah. Disney Art Academy.
You excited for this one, are you?
No. I suppose this is the one I'm probably not excited about. Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. I've actually looked at gameplay of this. There isn't much. There is like a presentation that they do where it's sort of like this guy's filming a screen of gameplay, and it actually looks better than all the other Sonics that have come out on normal DS and just in 3DS. So it actually looks not bad. Because you know that game that you got, Fast Racing Neo?
Mm-hmm.
You know how you have to click a button to change sort of the thing when you go over it?
Yeah.
That's similar to this game because it's fire and ice. You step on these fire things and these ice things, and you have to change to the ice or fire.
Sure.
So that's sort of similar to like that.
All right.
The next two games, Dragon Quest 7 and Dragon Quest 8. So two massive RPGs coming to the 3DS, which will consume, probably a year's worth of gaming for me.
Very excited about these.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next one, Rhythm Heaven Megamix.
I'm actually really excited for this.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Just lots of little mini games that you can play.
Yeah. Remember those old WarioWare games?
No.
No?
No.
WarioWare, like it's just a big compilation of very fast, very quirky mini games that you could finish in 1 to 10 seconds, depending on the game. Or it might just come up like, for example, they had a DS version of it. It might just say like, touch this or swipe that, and it would just it's just ultra fast paced, but it's very quick and very quirky. So Rhythm Heaven, it's kind of got like that same art style as WarioWare, but obviously Rhythm Heaven.
And perfect for the 3DS as well.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one.
Monster Hunter Generations. Every time a Monster Hunter game comes out, it improves on the last one, graphically, mechanically. And I'm always waiting to sort of choose a Monster Hunter game to get into. And so I thought it would have been Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, but I did try that and it was still a little bit, out of my range. Monster Hunter Generations I'm still waiting for, because I'm sure a demo might come out and I'll try that one. But yeah, I don't think that I'd want to take on a game like this because I don't have a 3DS XL. I'd probably need a 3DS XL to actually get into a game like that, to be honest.
Maybe Generations might fix that.
Maybe. Yeah, we haven't seen hardly anything of it. Metroid Prime Federation Force, we're both probably going to get that.
It's got a release date now.
When is it?
I think September.
Okay. Definitely this year then.
August, September. Really excited about this. And I hope, we've said this many times before, of course, when the release date was announced, like over Twitter and stuff, I checked all the comments like usual. People were like, "No, burn this, F this game," and they're the people who are going to buy it though.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah,
just to try it out. They want to try it out.
Yeah.
Mighty Number 9, which is coming to every single console known to mankind.
This game should have been out like 2 years ago.
Yeah. But I will get it. Like, if I do get this game, I will get it on the 3DS. I think it's probably better for a handheld console.
Sure.
Yeah. What about you? What console would you get it on?
I'd probably say 3DS as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at some screenshots on my Xbox store, and it looks quite like the screen is very grainy. It's very grainy. I think it's just because it's so enlarged.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's going to look really good on the 3DS.
Sure.
Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Obviously.
Huge games. Probably the last Pokemon games on the 3DS, and it's going to be huge. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. This is a sequel to Shin Megami Tensei 4, and it's not just sort of a little extension to the game or something. It's a whole new game. They've kept the number 4, but added Apocalypse.
Oh, kind of like a Final Fantasy 13 kind of deal.
Yeah, kind of thing. But this is going to be another 60 to 70 hour huge RPG. So another huge RPG coming for 3DS. Ace Attorney 6. This one I don't think centers on Phoenix Wright. I think it has some other...
I think you're right. I think I did read something about that.
Yeah. And this is the second Ace Attorney game on 3DS as well.
Because usually Ace Attorney games have Phoenix Wright in the title.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that's the right title. I think that's just a tentative title at the moment. But if it was with Phoenix Wright, I'm sure they would have had Phoenix Wright.
I've always been interested in these games, and I thought the one that might bring me into it was the game they had with Professor Layton.
Yeah.
And I've always been interested in trying it out, so I might pick it up if it's cheap hanging around. Yeah.
Puzzle and Dragons X.
Yeah, so I have the Puzzle and Dragons Super Mario Edition. I got really hooked on it for maybe a couple of weeks, and then I moved on to something else, I think.
How many hours do you think you put into it?
Maybe a good 15 hours.
Yeah.
In a week. I thought that was pretty decent.
I remember I played the demo. I just couldn't really get into it.
Yeah. I actually prefer, because there's the game is split in two, like the Super Mario version, and then there's the normal Puzzle and Dragons kind of like RPG element.
Yeah.
To it. I got more hooked on the normal Puzzle and Dragons version, only because the Super Mario version really waters the experience down.
Okay.
Then,
I only tried the Mario one as well.
Yeah, it's the Mario version is a good way for newcomers to get into it, like I did. So I tried that first, but once I got the mechanics right and got settled in, I moved on to the more, I suppose, hardcore version of the game.
So is this a full big game coming for the 3DS, Puzzle and Dragons X?
For sure, yeah. It's a big RPG, but it's just that, everyone thinks it's a nothing kind of game because it's the same element.
It's like I looked it up to see if it was, just a big game. I thought it was just one of these downloadable things. No. So that's what I thought it was, yeah. Etrian Odyssey 5, that's another huge game coming as well.
Yep.
So this dungeon crawler thing. Dragon Quest 11, which is not out anywhere yet. This is one that's been announced for Japan. It hasn't been announced in the West yet, but if number 7 and 8 are very successful, I'm sure it will come to us.
Do you expect this in what? Next year?
I expect maybe a couple of years.
Then is it 3DS then?
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to sort of talk about towards the end. But most of these games that I'm about to read out now are only announced. Most of them are just only announced for Japan. Some haven't even been made yet. And if it is just for Japan and then they localize it later, which usually takes sometimes 2 to 3 years, I mean, are people still going to be interested in buying 3DS games if there's something already else out? So, I mean, I really hope that they just do it anyway, because some of these games that I'm about to read out are worth the wait.
They've really shot themselves in the foot in that way, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a shame.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Next one is called Yu-Gi-Oh! I just put Yu-Gi-Oh! There because there's actually no title for it yet, but there is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game being developed for 3DS at the moment.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. Corpse Party, which I think is a downloadable title. This is I think it's Corpse Party was a game that came out years ago, back in PlayStation 2 days, I'm pretty sure. And it was remade for iOS and Android, and this is a port of that remake.
Yep.
And so, do you know much about this game?
Not at all, no.
Yeah, so this game is literally just, you're in a school with a bunch of students, and then I think it's one of those things where, you know, someone committed a murder, and it's one of the people in this room who did it. You got to sort of find out who did it, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's pretty full-on gory and,
okay.
yeah, kind of thing like that.
To back up a bit, I noticed a game you haven't put on the list yet, and it's pretty much coming out pretty soon. It's that Game Freak game that's coming out.
That horse thing?
That horse racing.
Yeah,
one.
I actually didn't really look too much into the downloadable things.
Pocket Card Jockey. Yeah,
Pocket Card Jockey.
There's a demo app for it now, and I was keen to get my hands on it, but I just thought it worth bringing up because it's Game Freak.
Yeah,
you know?
okay. Fair enough. Next one is Detective Pikachu, which I think that's a downloadable one.
Yes.
Yeah. That has... Like, we should be getting a version of that, shouldn't we?
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It'll come
It's
eventually.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Pokemon never... It's worldwide.
Yeah. Next one is Eternal Eden, which I had no idea what it was about, but I looked up what it is. It was a game that came out in 2008, and I think it was PC only. And this game looks massive, like a massive RPG. So yeah, if that's coming to the 3DS, then that's another huge RPG coming our way. Professor Layton 7, which I'm pretty sure I thought that Azure Legacy was the last one, but there is this Layton game that was announced, but it doesn't have Professor Layton. It was called Layton 7.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and then you don't play as Layton. It's just a Professor Layton game, probably with another character.
Are you? I remember there being a Professor Layton game announced for mobile. Are you sure this is a mobile?
I think it said mobile and 3DS, so.
Oh, okay.
It might be just mobile. I'm not sure, but.
Weird. You haven't played the last Layton game?
No, just Miracle Mask.
Yeah, so it might wrap up. Yeah, maybe there's something we're missing that wraps up the story.
Maybe.
The
next two games are Yokai Watch 2 and Yokai Watch 3, which are huge in Japan. Well, Yokai Watch 3 actually hasn't come out in Japan yet. It's coming out this year sometime. But Yokai Watch 2 is out in Japan, and was even bigger than the original Yokai Watch. I'm expecting Yokai Watch 2 to be announced for us pretty soon, sometime this year, because there has been rumours that it will be coming over. You know how they sell the Yokai Watch at EB Games? The actual watch?
Okay.
Well, they sell it there anyway. In Yokai Watch 2, he gets a new upgraded watch. It's like, an upgraded Pokédex kind of thing.
Okay.
And Hasbro makes these watches, right? And it was... I think the new model of the watch was seen. So that could be a hint that we're getting Yokai Watch 2 because the new model of the watch is going to be sold.
All right.
So, I mean, that's why... I guarantee, though, that we will get Yokai Watch 2. Don't know about Yokai Watch 3 because it has taken 2 to 3 years for these games to come over here. Yeah. And if Yokai Watch 3 is coming out in Japan this year, then...
Yeah,
a while.
I mean, it's only been about 6 months since the first Yokai Watch already has come out. Do you think it's done successful enough for a sequel already, so quickly?
I think bring it out so maybe there's a whole year gap.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't know if it's that successful because I know lots of kids talk about it and love it, but I think that's mainly just because of the anime. I'm not sure how many kids actually play the game.
You'd think that's crossover, though.
Well, I mean, these days, not really, because I don't think many kids own a 3DS. Most of them just play games on their phones or their mum's phones or something,
So weird.
Yeah. there's two more on my list. One is Monster Hunter Stories, which again that's not out in Japan yet, and it hasn't been announced to come over our way, which I really hope it does. It's one of those it's a kid version of Monster Hunter in a way. So I've talked about it before in another episode. I'm really looking forward to that. And the last one is Dragon Ball Fusions. And have you seen a trailer for this?
Yes, the very first one. But I know there's a new one out.
Yeah, I watched. I think it might have been the new trailer because it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's like got those. I think it's like Dragon Ball Heroes kind of graphics, and it looks
Dragon
like
Quest.
No, there was the Dragon Ball Heroes game. Oh, that might be a Japanese only game.
Okay.
But anyway, it's not one of those games where it's just fighting. You don't pick a fighter and then you go and fight. It looks like this RPG kind of thing where you get to walk around and you get to go to all those iconic places in Dragon Ball. So I don't really know anything else about it. Other than you confuse with different kind of characters, but
sounds like you confuse with anyone.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about this game, but from sort of the gameplay I saw, it looks really good just because it's not just a fighting game.
I really wish that they continued along with the same Attack of the Saiyans sort of style.
Yeah.
They did the whole Dragon Ball saga in that kind of style and look. But yeah, man, that was such a good game.
So that was 30 games still to come on the 3DS. And so back to what we were talking about earlier, if NX does come out this year, I really hope that it doesn't include a sort of a handheld thing within that, because I really want 3DS to at least last another 2 to 3 years. And I doubt that because most of these games are already out in Japan, and probably I think it's wrapping up in Japan, where it does take us a while to get the games. It might wrap up for us in 2 to 3 years, but something else will already be out.
Yeah. Man, it's so weird.
So that's my only worry, that if a new handheld is coming out at the end of the year, then that's fine, but I hope these games still make their way over to 3DS in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Because I'll still be playing it, no matter what.
2 to 3 years is a long time, though.
I know. I mean, we might not even get another handheld, because looking at the sales of the 3DS and looking at where the mobile market is going, that saddens me to say. But
yeah, it's just so hard to talk about it at the moment because we're in this really odd period.
Yeah,
where
no one knows anything.
No one knows anything, and handhelds aren't the rage anymore.
Yeah,
and Nintendo are usually the pioneers of the handheld console. So, and you could easily say maybe they've got something up their sleeve that can bring back the handheld.
Well, obviously they are, like, look at all the games coming to the handheld still. They're still really into that market, and Nintendo usually does their own thing anyway, so I'm really hoping they just still bring out something new. I mean, like I said before, it's got to be something completely different to the DS and 3DS. It's got to be something new. Go back to Game Boy, call it the Game Boy and make it look really different and something like that.
But is that the same thing that happened with the Wii?
No, but I mean, if they brought out GameCube 2 or something, I'm sure it would have done better than the Wii U.
Why?
Because it was so similar. Wii U is sort of just like, oh, you've already got a Wii. Might just be an updated version of the Wii, which it is. But
you were saying the GameCube 2 would have done better than the Wii U.
No, yeah, I am saying that. Because look at PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Yeah. Wii U, why is it a U? Why can't it be called Wii 2? If it was Wii 2, I'm sure it would have done even better.
Yeah. I don't know.
But same could be said with the Xbox. I mean, because Xbox One, Xbox 360, where are these numbers coming from? So
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so I just think Nintendo's biggest market are the kids, and they are losing the kids because I think most of their money comes from people our age buying their stuff. Mm-hmm. Based on nostalgia, because we still like Nintendo from when we were kids. Kids these days aren't growing up with Nintendo, they're growing up with mobile phones. So, I mean, when those kids grow up, they're not going to be buying Nintendo stuff because they didn't have the nostalgia like we do.
What is Nintendo trying to grasp at now with their mobile games? So kids who predominantly play mobile games will pick up a Nintendo mobile game, and then want to see that. Obviously, Nintendo mobile games are little slices of their bigger games on their consoles. Will that kids think like, hey, this game's really cool. This experience is really cool. Maybe I'll jump over to the proper consoles and get the full experience.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're banking on.
So if they do release some sort of Mario thing or a Pokemon thing, then
look at Pokemon Go. Yeah. That is the most rawest Pokemon experience you could possibly think of. Even though it's got this cool like AR kind of thing going on, but translate that, if you play Pokemon Go and then you want to get more Pokemon, the best solution to that is to jump over to the newest Pokemon game on the 3DS, because it's 10 times the experience of what you're getting in Pokemon Go.
Well, Pokemon's in a good situation because it has an anime, it has a kids show, it has all this franchise stuff. I mean, look at Zelda. What kid do you know that plays Zelda? No kids know about Zelda. When I was teaching a grade 2 class, that I showed them, I had a huge picture of Zelda up in there. No one knew what it was. These 8-year-olds, they don't know what Zelda is.
Yeah, just when we were age, Zelda was biggest.
Yeah.
Do you think Zelda's become too mature then?
I mean, maybe because they're targeting the people who grew up with Zelda. Now it's become a different market.
That's true.
But Zelda, they do release games like Triforce Heroes and A Link Between Worlds, which is sort of going back to those children. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there is the mature kind of Zelda games, and then there's the
That's funny. Yeah, it seems like the main line, like the main console Zelda games, like Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
They're all rated M and above.
Yeah.
For mature, obviously, and then the handheld games and the spin-off titles are all G, PG.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm going to make a prediction that the 3DS will have at least another year and a half in it.
Okay.
But I really want it to have at least 2.5 years.
I predict 2. Yeah.
Predict 2, yeah.
I would say that...
Because, if it's a year, this time next year, 3DS won't be doing anything else. I think if, NX does come out this year and does have a handheld thing, the 3DS still will do some games. It'll make some games. Just like, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 are still doing their random things.
Typically, Nintendo consoles are backwards compatible anyway.
Yeah,
so you pick up a 3DS game, it could work on your NX. We just don't know at this point.
That's if they're cartridge based.
It's so weird.
So let's just go on to the Wii U at the moment. So Wii U is where you come in because you've got a Wii U, I don't, and
it's my favourite system.
It is your favourite system. So do you just want to read the list of games that are coming out for Wii U? Now this is nothing like the 3DS. There are only a few in there that are actual true Nintendo games, and the rest are just games that are coming across to this system, which have been in other consoles. So.
There are a lot of still a lot of indie titles, downloadable indie titles coming. Like just this week at PAX East in America is being held at the moment. Nintendo have a booth, and Nintendo announced a line of indie games that have been released for about a year or so now on previous consoles that are being ported to Wii U. One of which I'm really excited for is Axiom Verge.
Oh yeah, I was going to write that one down.
Yeah, really excited for that. Finally, it's coming to Wii U. I wish it was actually coming to 3DS because it seems like the perfect 3DS game.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter though. I'll be happy with it on the Wii U. That being said, I'm going to read a list of games now for the Wii U coming out. One of which is Lost Reavers. A game that's actually in open beta at the moment and coming early May, I think. Still free to play, so whatever version of this game you pick up, it will be free.
And we talked about this in the episode that we did after the Nintendo Direct. And actually it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, I could see myself playing it I definitely want to try the beta.
Yeah.
Get my feet wet a little bit with it, but I don't know. It's an interesting idea, and it's something brand new for Nintendo, I suppose. It's a shame that again they're not really getting behind it.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yeah.
Strange. Mario and Sonic at the 2016 Olympic Games, a game that's already out on 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, have you got this one yet?
Not yet, because, like I said, I haven't said this on the podcast, but I only have a $100 gift voucher for a game that I'm gonna be spending all year. So I'm saving that for maybe 1 or 2 games all year.
Saving for Doom.
No, I don't think so. It won't be Doom.
Battleborn?
Probably not. They weren't on my list.
You don't get Battleborn?
I was thinking Ukulele when that comes out.
Oh. That'd be cheap though.
But this Mario and Sonic game, usually these games get kind of low scores, these Olympic games, and then nobody really talks about them maybe, a few months after they're out, and then they just become forgotten. Like, look at the Mario and Sonic at the London Games. No one talks about that. What about the Sochi Winter Olympic Games or something? Nobody talks about that either. So, but I think this game, it's different in a way. Don't you feel something like about this game that it could be something bigger than that?
It seems like they really stepped up the game on it. There seems to be a lot more to do with it, particularly on the Wii U version, because it's got the Roby 8s and whatever.
Yeah, 7s.
I was gonna say 9s, but no, I don't know. It seems like definitely seems like a really good version, and the Wii U version seems like again the most fleshed out version of these games, and it's coming out the closest to the actual Olympic Games as well. Yeah. So that could do really well.
Yeah.
It does seem weird that they did split them. Maybe that's smart.
Maybe it's well, I like I said in another podcast, I think they've got a few extra. I mean, they've got the Rugby 7s and the Wii U, but I think they do have a few extra ones as well that they're working on as well. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely a game I'll probably pick up as well. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE is another game.
Sharp FE.
Sharp.
That's what they say.
Right, because it's a musical.
Oh, right, yeah, that's okay.
Sharp,
yep.
got it, yeah. I was going to say hashtag.
And this is the Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem.
Yeah, and actually some footage from PAX East again has come out. About 20 minutes. If you will look up Game Explain on YouTube, they've got some footage on there of just someone playing on the TV. It looks incredible.
Yeah, it does look.
Actually looks incredible.
And I don't know if you know about this, but I don't know if I've told you or we've talked about it, but Tokyo Mirage Sessions, if you look at those words backwards, have I told you this?
No.
If you look at the words backwards and look at the first letter, it's SMT, so Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh.
So that's how they sort of. That's probably why it's such a weird title.
No normal person's. How'd you figure that?
I heard it somewhere. I didn't sit there and try and decode the title.
What normal person's going to think that's Shin Megami Tensei?
I don't know.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's clever that it's not just Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
It's got its own little thing happening, but I would never have picked that up. No, but this game, it seems it's just 100% Japanese through and through, and even still, I've heard that in Japan it hasn't done so well. It's out in Japan right now. I've
really?
heard
I thought they'd eat this up.
It's same. I just heard that it hasn't done so well. A shame because it's got J-pop, it's got Fire Emblem, it's got Shin Megami Tensei characters, everything that Japan would love. But I've just heard it's done a little bad critically. So that doesn't matter. I'm still picking up because it looks incredible. The graphics look insane, and something just different. You know, something different. Again, we've already talked about was Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Definitely going to pick this up. I think this comes out in June. Just another big.
I don't know how sometimes they can just release a Lego Star Wars game like this based on one movie, when usually they release Lego games based on 3 or 4 movies.
Yeah. If that's the case, then this has to be a pretty big game.
It has to be, because, I mean, it has to show every scene from the movie, to be honest.
Well, they've also said that there's extra stuff around the movie. Like you find out how C-3PO got his red arm, and there's a bit of prequel stuff involved in there. Ukulele, we are both going to get.
Can't wait for it.
You're going to get on Xbox One, me, Wii U. Big game. I do hope that this E3 coming up is the big reveal.
Yeah.
This game's been obviously revealed and announced.
Yeah.
Shown some
but
gameplay.
We've seen just some early gameplay.
Yes, I still don't think there's been a trailer for the game.
No.
So
the gameplay we've seen is the gameplay they had to show us for their Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm. There still hasn't been like a proper cinematic kind of game trailer, you know. So hopefully, either Xbox conference or maybe even the Nintendo Direct, depending on which people maybe pick up an exclusive, or I don't know how that works properly. But either way, I want to see a big reveal trailer for this game, a proper release date, and I don't know, something else that could surprise us.
Yeah.
Next game, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. What is this?
This is just a game that I think came out on PC or some other console, and now it's just coming over to Wii U. So it's not that exciting.
What kind of game is it, though?
I didn't really look into it too much.
Cool. I'll have to search that.
Yeah.
This is a game... Next game was announced at the last Nintendo Direct. It's Paper Mario Color Splash. Pretty excited for this one?
Yeah. It looked good. I was excited when I saw it, and I was disappointed that it wasn't coming to 3DS. So.
Yeah. Again, another game that we just need to hear more about. But again, it looks incredible. The Wii U can really put out some power. Kerbal Space Program is next.
Do you know much about this game?
I do, because a game show, a TV show I watch all the time, Good Game Spawn Point.
Yeah.
They talk about it pretty much as they talk about Minecraft. It's big with kids.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was like one of those really full-on hard games that only scientists could figure out.
Yep, it's got that level, but it's also got, if you put enough time into it, you can just work it out.
Yeah, okay.
So it's got the mechanics of science.
So basically this game is literally you're building a ship to get into space.
Yeah.
And it's full on, it's not like kid building, like, it's not like Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, put this part here and there.
Well, no, actually, that's what it looks like.
Oh, really?
When you're building a ship.
Okay.
But 3D models.
But the parts, they're not like, put a wheel here.
No, yeah, you got to work it out all yourself.
It's trial and error.
Yeah. It's all physics-based, it's pretty hardcore, and it's been on PC for, I've got to say, maybe close to 3 years now. You know,
and
open beta.
It's not on anything else? It's just coming to Wii U?
Just Wii U, actually, yeah. So PC and Wii U. That's a pretty good exclusive to pick up.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the Wii U gamepad would be a really good device.
Oh, yeah. If they use that, hopefully they use that.
Hopefully.
Sometimes they don't take advantage of that.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Mighty Number 9 is the next one we've already talked about. And the last game is probably the biggest game on the list, probably the biggest game in a lot of people's minds. Legend of Zelda. I'm just, I want to talk about Twilight Princess. I finished Twilight Princess, I think this time last week at the time of recording.
Yeah.
I finished it 32 hours in, I think.
Yeah.
Now, as soon as I finished it, put it down for maybe a couple hours, picked it straight back up, started a new file.
Really?
I'm 100%ing it. That's how quickly I got back into that game. Now, already in my 100% file, I think I'm close to 10 hours and I'm at the 3rd dungeon.
And you're following the guide for this?
I am, yeah. So far, actually, maybe before the first 2 dungeons, I could do everything myself. Pick up all the pieces of hearts and all that because I knew where they were.
Yeah.
Now it's the point where I'm thoroughly following the strategy guide.
So, after this 100%, do you reckon you could try and do a speed run? See how well you go?
I don't know. I could give it a shot, but I feel like that might ruin the experience for the game for me.
Yeah. If you know it so well to do speed runs.
Even picking up the 100% run, I'm thinking, will this kind of taint the experience?
If you do the 100% run, then don't go back to the game for another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's just Twilight Princess is a phenomenal game. So, that's really put me in the Zelda mood, which is what the strategy I think Twilight Princess Nintendo wanted Twilight Princess to do
Yeah.
for gamers, and I'm right in that mood.
Mm-hmm.
So now is the time to capitalize on that and tell us about Zelda.
They will. They will. I really think it's at E3.
Well, and E3 is not too far away. It's
Yeah.
about a month, a bit less than a month. Oh wait, June.
June, yeah. So that's
About a month and a half.
yeah. So we actually need to start doing some E3 shows.
Yes, actually, that is a good point.
What we planned to do was doing one show on Nintendo, one show on Xbox, one show on PlayStation,
Yeah,
and then one show on just all the other things combined.
yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
go into that pretty soon, actually. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for the Wii U. Again, Legend of Zelda is potentially a Wii U Cross NX title. That's what's been speculated. That's what I'm putting my money on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a really solid list. Even for what? Maybe that's 10, 11 games on there?
That list just shows me that this is the last year for Wii U. I really believe.
Yeah. Wii U's had a pretty solid year this year. Pokken Tournament was massive.
Yeah.
Star Fox Zero just came out yesterday. Reviews of that have actually been better than I thought they would be. 7s and 8s.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick it up today, actually.
I have seen some really bad reviews though.
Yeah.
I think there are some good ones and there are some really bad ones. I don't think there's any sort of it's average. It's average. It's either good or it's shit.
Yeah.
So
Looking at final gameplay of the game now, and actual proper levels of it and everything, it just looks what everything I wanted the Star Fox game to be.
Mm.
But of course, everyone's been saying, yeah, you really need to get your hands around this control system. Which I'm fine about. It's just, should they have made
an alternative.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I can't understand is so many people are complaining about the length of the game. Like, they're saying how short it is, and they're really pissed off about that. But what were you expecting? All Star Fox games are short.
Yeah. You can get them done in maybe 2 hours.
Yeah. So I don't know why you're expecting anything else. But that's because, you can replay them over and over again, can't you? It's
Yeah.
Sort of...
That's maybe every 2 months I pick up Star Fox 64 to do another run through. And it's done in 2 hours, and that's great.
Yeah.
And I got what I wanted from it. That's all I wanted from Star Fox Zero. But it's a game.
You know how Star Fox 64 you can't save in the middle of it? Is this the same as Zero?
Well, I've seen that the way the map works, I've heard that it's kind of like a course select. I think once you beat the game once,
Yeah.
you can do
Oh,
a course
just choose
select.
a course.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And this is a game I've heard in reviews that runs at 60 frames per second. A game, something that the Wii U can easily do. Also, a game that's, not the best graphical game on the Wii U either, but it's outputting two things on the TV screen and on the Wii gamepad, both at 60 frames per second.
Yeah, yeah.
That's something that the Xbox can't even probably do.
No.
So, and people are... People annoy
It's alright,
me.
it's alright, calm down.
People annoy me.
So your prediction for the Wii U is this year its last year?
Look, probably. Yeah. Looking at this list,
That's, yeah.
the biggest game, Zelda. Everything that has been announced on that list, from the previous Nintendo Direct, everything says 2016.
Yeah. And I was looking at that list from the Nintendo Direct, and half those games are out now, and the rest of the games are on that list for 2016, and yeah, it's definitely its last year.
It's funny how they can already spell out pretty much the end of Wii U before the year's out, yet look at 3DS. They've got a projection until probably 2018.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, for Australia at least.
Yeah. So that's funny. Doesn't that indicate then that whatever NX is, that
Yeah.
it's got to crush Wii U and then probably still ride 3DS along?
That I think because people are saying, NX has this handheld thing, I think it's going to be so different to the 3DS that 3DS can survive on its own still for another few years.
And Wii U obviously can't.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there were those reports not long ago that have been quashed by Nintendo that Wii U production will cease at the end of this year.
Yeah.
But then Nintendo said that was wrong. That's false. So...
We won't know anything until E3.
But, yeah, it's just Nintendo, obviously.
Yeah.
And any kind of rumor that comes out, they say, no, that's not true. But in the end, it ends up being true.
Yeah.
And that's just detriment to Nintendo because at this point, every week goes along with an NX rumor, and you just want the truth. So, yeah, E3. I do wish Nintendo should have said something by now about the NX before E3.
Yeah.
Something to say that it's coming this year, or to give it its proper name, or...
It's just annoying us so much because we just hear rumours about it every day.
Yeah.
Like I said before, it's ourselves that make us annoyed, to be honest. But let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about NX launch titles, what we think they are.
Oh, okay.
And really, to do these predictions realistically, we're not going to really predict new franchises or new IPs that are coming to NX because who can predict that? Who could have predicted Splatoon? I mean, we're not going to sit here and come up with new games that they can make. We're literally just going to think of returning franchises or sequels to games that we think that are going to come to the NX first up.
Yep.
First of all, 2 games I want to get off the list. Legend of Zelda. We all know that's coming to NX.
Obviously.
And I truly believe that Super Smash Bros. Will have a port.
A port?
Well, it's going to come to the NX just like Legend of Zelda will.
So pretty much the same game.
Same game, yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I definitely did hear something about that not long ago.
Just because it came out in 2014, and it's been supported right up until now, and I don't think that... I mean, if Wii U had a few more years left in it, then it would have been good, but, I mean, Super Smash Bros. Is not ready to go down yet. I think that it's going to come over. I mean, that's what this generation has done. In Xbox One and PS4, those games have just come straight over, like GTA 5 and Uncharted series. They're all coming straight over. Dishonored. They're all,
Do you think it's the right way to launch a console, though?
Well, yeah, I mean, among other things.
Sure.
If you have the Super Smash Bros. And the Legends of Zelda straight on the NX launch title as launch titles.
That just got me really excited, actually, the way you said that. Yeah. I picked that up so quickly.
I definitely don't think there'll be anything else coming from the Wii U. People have said Mario Kart 8, but there's no chance of Mario Kart 8 coming over.
No.
I don't think that's so. The game was released ages ago. It had its time on Wii U. They won't do it.
Hang on, back up for a quick second. For people like us, people like me who have bought already 2 versions of the latest Smash Bros, do you think people are willing to buy it a 3rd time? And if they've already bought all the DLC... That's a game that's already cost them probably $200.
Yeah. If the game does come over to NX, it will include all DLC.
Oh,
I have
absolutely.
no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But
or do you think it would be a cheaper version of the game?
Maybe with the Nintendo account system. I mean, you might be able to buy a digital copy that'll cost you full price. But with the if you go on is it called eShop on Wii U?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go on the eShop, if it sees that you have the game already on Wii U, then maybe it'll be cheaper price, discounted like 50% or something.
Sure. Yeah, that seems like the thing they're trying to do with Nintendo account.
Yeah.
Have you signed up for that at all?
No.
No, me neither. And I thought you had to play Miitomo, but you... Oh, wait.
I thought you had to.
Maybe I just did do that.
Did you make an account?
I did something with that had to link my Nintendo ID.
Yeah. I think you'll have to for NX.
Yeah.
That's where it'll all start. But yeah, so any other predictions? I mean, everybody talks about a Mario game. That will be massive as a launch title. That's what'll sell units.
You know what? I think you're right. It's been some time since...
They have to go all out.
They really do. It's been some time since the last 3D Mario game, which is
Galaxy 2.
3D World.
Galaxy 2.
Okay. Either way, it's been a long time. It seems like that team, because the same team who did Galaxy worked on 3D World. It seems like the right time to put out the next 3D Mario game.
And you know what? Like, if they announce, NX at E3, start with a trailer for the new Mario game.
Start or end?
Start.
Yeah.
I reckon. That would be so good.
Yeah. No, yeah.
No. Yeah, start with a new trailer for the Mario game. People might think this is a Mario game for the Wii U. Then when it ends, say for NX or whatever it's called, and then they introduce the new console. Coming in November or December or something for NX, but change the name or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they go into this production thing about NX.
Okay.
That'd be sick.
Do you think that this E3 then they're gonna mention no Wii U 3DS?
I hope they mention 3DS stuff.
Or do you think that'll be something?
I think it'll be like a little 1 minute thing about we're still going to be releasing some Wii U things in the next year, but that'll be it. If they do have NX, it'll be about all NX and some launch games.
Yeah, you've recently looked back on some E3s in the past.
Yeah.
When Nintendo does console launches for the DS and the Wii U, whatever.
Yeah.
If you remember watching them, was it solely about the console?
I think for the handhelds, it was a part of the presentation.
Yeah.
But for the console, it took over the whole presentation.
Okay.
They didn't mention anything else but the console and the games.
I'd want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd want that, but I'd want them to come on and say, for like just 1 minute, saying that we're still supporting 3DS and Wii U for a year or so, just to bring out some games.
Yeah, here's the games coming out. There's a little showcase.
Yeah.
Little montage. Yeah, it does. It definitely seems the right thing to do, and in that way, typically Nintendo what do they call it? Nintendo E3 Directs or whatever.
Yeah.
Typically, they bookend E3 press conferences. They're pretty much at the end of it.
Yeah, at the end.
So to have these big dogs like Xbox and PS4 and do their normal thing, and then have something mammoth at the end, and then get everyone start talking about Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Have the whole E3 talk about Nintendo rather than just Fallout 4 and.
Oh man, it's just going to be such a good thing to wait for. Like, we'll be watching the Sony, we'll be watching Microsoft, but then we just know that Nintendo's coming up tomorrow or something. It's like, oh.
God, but what if they don't even mention that?
They will. They have to. They have to. If they don't mention it, then
they're screwed if they don't even mention it.
Yeah,
that would be the biggest disappointment. I haven't even thought about if they haven't.
I mean, it's either they're going to spend the whole show on it, or they'll spend 5 minutes on it saying it's still in development, it's not coming out this year, it'll be next year, and they'll maybe show us a few things we can expect. Those are the two options. They will mention it though, and they'll probably tell us what it's called.
What if it's called NX?
What if it's called NX?
Remember, the PSVR, its prototype name was Project Morpheus.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And PlayStation 4, that name was PlayStation Orbis.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I heard about Project Morpheus more, just because VR was thrown around a lot, and then eventually you got used to the name Project Morpheus.
Yeah.
And then when PlayStation VR was announced, you're like, oh, I'm still going to call this Project Morpheus, but no one calls it that anymore.
Yeah.
But because NX is just so thrown around.
It'll be good once they actually release a title, because then when you search for videos or any information about the NX, whenever you see the word NX, you know it's old information, so you don't go to those things.
Yeah.
You just go to the new stuff. So,
yeah. Okay, back to the launch title then. Mario, I would put money on a 3D Mario.
Yeah.
Because that is the smart thing to do.
It's the smart thing to do, but sometimes they are not very smart. They have to do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a launch title, but if they announce it for 3 or 4 months from that date, from when it's released, but they have to say it's coming.
God, but it's so smart of them
because
to launch it.
Remember, Wii U launch, I was going to get one, but I said I'm going to wait until a Mario game comes out. That's why I haven't got a Wii U yet.
Do you remember the Wii U launch titles? They're pretty mediocre ones.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty kind of things.
That's true. And do you think typically Nintendo consoles are have a new way of playing video games, gimmicky kind of things. Wii was launched with Wii Sports. Wii U was launched with Nintendo Land.
Yeah,
ways to bring in people with these new controls.
Yeah.
Do you think Nintendo might launch a new NX version of these games?
Yes, because whatever this console is, it's going to be different from whatever they've ever done before. So they'll need a game like that to sort of bring people in and just say this is an easy family fun game to play.
It would be cool if they do another kind of Wii Sports, I suppose.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Mm.
Back to Lost Shadows, I actually heard rumours of a new Luigi's Mansion.
Oh yeah, I did as well.
And that might be pretty cool.
Yeah. Because that's what they did for the launch of GameCube.
Yes.
They came out with Luigi's Mansion, so...
Pikmin might be also on that.
Yeah, maybe Pikmin. I hope to see, if we are talking new IP, I hope to see a new IP like, how Pikmin was new for GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So... I don't know what I'm trying to say, really.
You just want a new IP?
Yeah. They need to have a new IP in there, and it's got to be something Nintendo-like.
Yep.
Like Zelda, Banjo-Kazooie, like, an iconic Nintendo thing as a new IP.
Sure.
I don't think they'll have a Splatoon 2 there. It's probably too soon for it.
Yeah.
I think wait another year or two for that.
I think we talked about this before as well, but I want to see, rather than a supposed direct sequel to Splatoon, rather than just have another Splatoon game about multiplayer shooting, I want to see a game that kind of fleshes out that world with maybe a 3D platformer or something.
Yeah.
Give it a little bit of a spin-off, and maybe even just a smaller game, maybe a downloadable kind of thing. But I want to see...
And call it Splatoon, and then another word.
Yes, yeah. I want to see a Splatoon game, but not Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll be the smart thing to do. Keep that franchise in people's minds, but not hit them over the head with it, Do
you want to see Donkey Kong at all? Is there a need for Donkey Kong?
Maybe something other than Donkey Kong Country?
I think I think they really need to go and do 3D platformers. Like go back to their 3D platformers. So if there is a Donkey Kong, make something like Donkey Kong 64, not a 2D platformer. Because that's what people are so over these 2D platformers.
Yeah, Wii U was really known for the 2D.
Yeah, they need to do 3D platformers with the excitement of Ukulele coming out. People are excited for 3D platformers.
Ratchet and Clank just came out.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to put money on Metroid.
Wait. The studio that does Metroid, what are they?
Retro Studios.
Yeah, did they come out with anything yet? I mean, so what have they been working on? Have they announced anything?
No.
So what about that direct when everybody was, or maybe it was E3, everybody was waiting for a Retro Studios announcement. What did they announce?
Yeah, you're right. I don't think they announced anything. I'm just going to have a quick look for that. Yeah, you're right. I remember people saying that they were working on something. But they're the studios who made Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's other studios who can make Metroid games.
The studio that made Metroid Prime, they make the Donkey Kong games as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a studio exclusive to Nintendo. So the last game was Tropical Freeze, Donkey Kong Country, and then under that they have an unannounced project.
So when was Tropical Freeze out? When did that come out?
2013, I want to say. 14.
So it has been a couple of years. Enough time to make a new Metroid Prime?
Mario Kart 7? Oh, co-developed. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's definitely been some time. And it's definitely time for Metroid.
How long was it between Metroid Prime 3... Oh, Metroid... How long does it take them to make a Metroid Prime game? So Metroid Prime to Metroid Prime 2.
Okay. Metroid Prime was released in 2000... in Australia, 2003.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 2 was 2004.
So only a year. And what about Metroid Prime 3?
I feel like this is a longer gap. Yeah, 2007.
So I think 2 years is enough time for them to make a new Metroid Prime.
2 years.
because it's been 2 years since Donkey Kong Country.
Oh yeah,
So they've been working on a new game for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm excited for whatever they announce because, I mean, looking at that, they've got all the Metroid Primes and the Donkey Kong games. So whatever they come out with, it's going to be good.
They're a good studio.
Yeah.
And like everyone's been saying, Metroid Prime Federation Force. It's a good. It seems like a good game, but it needs a proper Metroid game catalyst to really get it out the door.
Yeah.
And if they announced, okay, so this seems smart. Metroid Prime Federation Force comes out in August or September. I think it's September. E3's in June. If they announce a Metroid Prime game to be out later in the year, even if they just announce Metroid Prime, a proper Metroid Prime game, that will push people to play Federation Force.
Mm.
Even if they have the
just an announcement of a Metroid Prime game coming out, it'll get them into it. But so if they have an unannounced project, they've been working on something for 2 years. That's definitely something for an NX launch title, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah.
It must be.
Yeah, that's why people were thinking it would be last year for Wii U, but obviously not.
Yeah,
they missed the deadline, so now it's definitely Wii U, and it's definitely Metroid Prime.
NX.
Oh, NX. Yeah, yeah.
So we can put Metroid Prime down as an NX launch title.
Oh man, that'd be so good.
Mario. This is looking good so far. Because it makes sense. It's been so long since an actual Mario game. People are waiting for that. And then Metroid Prime, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if those two games alone come out as launch titles, this console will sell.
You're in, yeah. I mean, no doubt, whatever. But those launch titles will bring in Nintendo fans who skipped Wii U.
Yeah, I skipped Wii U.
They'll bring it
and
back
then,
in.
I'll be getting it if those two are launch titles. I mean, especially with Legend of Zelda coming to the NX as well. I'm not a huge Zelda fan, but I don't have a Wii U, so I won't be getting it on that. So if it's coming to the NX, it's another reason for me to maybe just get it to try it out. And
I'm just thinking if I should get the 2 versions of Zelda, if it is a NX.
Yeah, I mean, because you actually really want it on Wii U, don't you? Because,
yeah.
I mean, you're a Wii U supporter.
Because I know what happened with Twilight Princess. It came out on GameCube and Wii. Wii got the GameCube version.
Mm.
And I played that. And then now the GameCube version is a pretty much sought after rare item in Nintendo history, because I think so few copies were made.
Well, this might be a rare item as well, like in the future, because this was for like 3 years. This was such a hyped thing for coming out on Wii U, and if you have it on the Wii U, you've got that, for years to come. So.
Okay, I'm getting both copies.
Yeah,
that's why I think like all Wii U games eventually we give it 20 years, like most Nintendo games. They would be sought after, like $300 copy games.
I think so. Wii U will become that console. Because I think Wii U is going to be looked back upon as one of those overlooked consoles where people will realize in the future, why was that hated so much? It had some good games.
Just like people look back on GameCube. At the time, it was hated on.
Yeah.
But it's
got some of the greatest games in Nintendo history.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Probably not a launch maybe a launch title. Mario Party.
God, if it's a Mario Party, they need to go back to the start of Mario Party.
Maybe Mario Party is the catalyst for how they introduce people to the new mechanics of the NX, like a Nintendo Land, like a Wii Sports.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember Mario Party 8 coming out pretty much very close to the start of Wii.
Because all their little mini games can take all the functions of the new NX system.
Yeah. So maybe that.
Maybe. It's a good idea. What else was I going to... I had something else to...
So you're definitely thinking that NX launches with the front runners on Nintendo. The Marios or Zeldas, the Samuses.
I mean, if they're not launch titles, they'll definitely be out within...
The year?
Within 6 months.
Okay.
And they'll definitely be announced so people know they're coming.
Yeah.
Because people have to know they're coming for people to buy it on launch.
Mm-hmm. Then definitely once those heavy hitters come out, then the more obscure Nintendo games start to show themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe games like a Tokyo Mirage Sessions, or maybe games like a Paper Mario, or
you're definitely going to see a lot of shit as well. If you look at the list of Wii U launch titles, there's a lot of stuff on there that's like, I'm not getting that.
Yeah.
There's going to be games like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed.
Do you think they have third-party support?
Yeah, that's a big thing that they were missing in Wii U, and that's a big thing that people were after. So I think that they're going to have a lot of games like that.
Yeah, and X can't survive again without a third party.
No, but just to keep it to Nintendo's titles, so far we've got Super Smash Bros., Legend of Zelda, Metroid Prime, Mario. What else did we say?
Pikmin? Maybe?
Oh, because Pikmin 4 was announced.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, maybe probably Pikmin as well. Didn't we say something else?
Smash Bros?
No, we said Smash Bros.
I don't know. Either way, that lineup sounds awesome.
Do you expect to see anything to do with Pokemon?
Probably not. I think Pokemon had a huge year this year. They might.
Yeah, I don't expect to see anything to do with it unless it's some spin-off thing. But nothing.
Definitely not launch.
Nothing too serious like a big major Pokemon game.
No.
Unless Pokemon Sun and Moon has something to do. You can use it on the NX somehow.
Yeah. I actually think they might come out with a new Maker game. You know how they had Super Mario Maker?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Because people were talking about what is it, Donkey Kong Creator.
Okay.
And there was the the original Zelda games. You can make one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you want?
I'd probably want a Zelda one.
That's hard though, like to make an RPG.
I definitely think that you can't make full 20-hour experiences out of it.
Yeah,
you can make little levels and slices out of it.
Because it'd have to be because Super Mario Maker is that just little tiny experiences where you can upload your course and everything. You can't make a full game. It'll be like one quest. You've got to find. I don't know. You've got to try and get to the chest, unlock the chest or something.
That's it. Yeah, people make quests, but break it up into
You can have your own full story, but
you have to break it.
Yeah, broken up. But because in Super Mario Maker you can make your full game. It'll just be courses.
Yeah,
you make.
But look, Mario Maker has broken expectations of probably Nintendo as well. People have made Metroid experiences in Super Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Backtracking and trying to find specific
they've
items.
made everything.
Mario Maker has become this juggernaut of a game, and so it'd be perfect for them to definitely not make another Super Mario Maker, but definitely make another Maker game in one of their classic franchises.
You know the RPG Maker games? What if they made an RPG Maker game based on Pokemon for Nintendo? Imagine that. You can make you can make your own Pokemon game. They give you every single Pokemon to use, so you can just you could put 100% rating, 100% chance of finding a Mew in a patch of grass.
Oh my god. They would never do that because no one would buy a Pokemon game ever again.
No, probably not. They'll just play their own. I mean, but if you could make a full Pokemon game, imagine how many Pokemon games could be uploaded and you could just count unlimited amount of Pokemon games just to
you play a new Pokemon game every week.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, I definitely think there will be a Maker game, even if it's not launch. It'll be within the year or two, and it won't be Mario. It'll be something else.
Yeah, no, for sure. What about going back to third party? When did all those Skylander Disney Infinity games come out? Are they towards Christmas?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know anything about them really.
No, I was going to say that they might be.
Yeah, something there.
Something there.
New Skylanders. Isn't there a new Skylanders coming out very soon for Wii U?
Probably.
Yeah.
Back on third party, if Nintendo really push third party again, which I'm really hoping they do, I would switch all my third party games to the NX. Games like, maybe the next Battlefront game. Hopefully, maybe the next Call of Duty.
What games do you usually get on your Xbox One? Like, games that are coming out that you're going to get.
Oh, like yearly games and stuff like that.
Yeah, like what are some of them?
Maybe a Battlefront game. Maybe a Call of Duty. Maybe the next Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool again to see when they announced the next FIFA or Assassin's Creed? This game's coming to Xbox One, PS4, and NX.
NX, yeah.
Rather than just Xbox One, PS4. I just want to see that again.
Yeah.
So people take Nintendo seriously again.
Yeah, and then as well as all that, they have their huge list of exclusives from Nintendo.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's going to look better probably on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. But
I don't know. From what I've been hearing, it's going to up better the graphics than PS4. But
I don't know how great they can make it because they do want a cheaper console to sell the consoles.
Wii U is still going for over $400.
Yeah, but that's the same as every other console, and that's less powerful than those consoles.
Yeah.
So I would go for, the Wii U games, like actual Nintendo games on the Wii U, look amazing, but I'd still just sort of keep that same amount of power. Well, obviously a bit extra powerful, but I don't think go for the same amount of power as Xbox One and PS4, just to sort of maybe try and keep it cheaper than those consoles. Because they need to target children, and parents aren't going to buy this huge console when it's too expensive.
So you still think the family-friendly approach is Nintendo?
Yes, but they haven't done it right in the past few years. That's why Wii U hasn't been sold.
Why haven't they done right?
They haven't marketed it properly.
Yeah.
Like, again, with the name, it's confusing. And as well, just with this mobile market, why would parents go out and buy their kids a $400 console when the kids are entertained enough just by playing games on the iPad or a mobile?
Yep.
Because that's kids are like all the time. I'm seeing kids just playing apps on iPad and mobile, and they're being entertained. Why go buy them a $400 console when they're already being entertained by something
that you already have?
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I want to start seeing again is I used to catch a train a lot back when I was at uni and whatever. I was the only, pretty much every single day, every single week I caught the train, I was the only one I ever saw playing a handheld console.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I did see someone playing a PSP or PS Vita and one other person playing 3DS, which I street passed with that person, which is pretty cool.
Awkward.
Yeah. But I want to start seeing people playing handheld consoles on trains. Maybe
the only way this is going to work is Nintendo need to market it to children, so children whine and complain that they want one so much that the parents will go and buy them the console. That's how I think they need to do it.
Yeah.
They need to get something that is so desirable to children that the children just want one.
What about, think of it this way, kids who grew up playing, kids our age or your age, okay, who played Nintendo consoles when they were growing up, are now starting to have kids of their own. The parents are already going to be playing Nintendo.
Yeah.
You, for example. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you just automatically buy your children Nintendo things?
But I don't think there's that many. Most people who have grown up have gone for more Xbox or PlayStation.
You think?
I mean, there are a lot of us who still like Nintendo when we're adults, but I really don't think that there's many left of us.
Because you think Xbox PS4 is the easy way out.
I mean, because if they have an Xbox or PS4, that's something that they can play as well, and I don't know.
It's the point of, as well as games have become so multiplayer focused that hey, my friends have a PS4. Why do I have this console that no one else has?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. If Nintendo pick up third party support, then Nintendo could also have the games like Destiny, like Battleborn, like Overwatch as well.
Because also kids these days want to play the Call of Duties and all that kind of stuff. They don't want to sort of sit down and play Mario like we used to want to do. They want to play those full hardcore action games. So
Yeah,
that's why, NX needs that support to play those as well.
for sure.
Well, if there's nothing else you want to sort of say about NX launch titles,
No, I think we hit the nail on the head.
last topic I've brought is games that you wish you had got into, or is it too late for these games? I'll start. I've made a list of 3DS games that I wish I'd played earlier, because now it might be too late to get into because there's so many games coming out, and these are just backlogs now, and then just... So, first game on my list is Shin Megami Tensei 4, which is always in a top 10 list of best 3DS games, which is why I always sort of, should I get it? It might be too late to play this game just because it's such a huge RPG, when there's so many other games that I haven't played that are still, on my backlog.
Sure.
And this is part of a series as well, so I'd like to sort of go back and play other games in the series as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just read this list because these games are all part of a series, which I've sort of missed completely. Next one is Etrian Odyssey. They've got sort of 4 games, and then there's Etrian Mystery Dungeon, and just a whole bunch of those games. These are all sort
Etrian
of...
Persona as well.
Yeah, the Persona Q.
Oh, yeah.
These games are all sort of dungeon crawls. They follow the sort of same game mechanics of dungeon crawling and then fighting and collecting items and all that. They sort of follow the same kind of style, but I haven't played games of this kind of style. I've got Persona Q to get on my list, and that's the same sort of dungeon crawling kind of thing. But the problem is all these games are huge. There's no time to play them.
Yeah.
Next one is Phoenix Wright, which we talked about earlier. I mean, there's 5 Phoenix Wright games now, and I haven't played any.
Yeah.
And it's always something that Nintendo fans are sort of really into, and it's something that we've both missed, really.
I wouldn't say these games are long either. I wouldn't say these games are...
They're like, what, 25, 30 hours?
Yeah, but a lot of it is just reading.
Yeah, it's a lot of reading, and a lot of sort of puzzle solving. I kind of guess, not puzzles, but sort of...
Just like...
you got to think, you got to concentrate.
What do you call it, like problem solving? Like,
yeah, problem solving, yeah.
But these games, there's a collection on the eShop that's always on special.
The trilogy, the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Which probably takes a good 60 to 70 hours to complete if you're going to play all 3 of those.
Yeah. But I feel like that would be a game you just knock out in a weekend. Because it's so... It's kind of like a TV series kind of thing.
Yeah.
That it just goes one case and the other, and then if you're halfway through a case, you don't want to put it down because you might forget some things.
Yeah.
You just want to
just knock out a case.
That's how I see it.
There was also that crossover with Professor Layton. Professor Layton is a series that I just got into maybe a few months ago, which I'm glad I did because it's really good. I'm really enjoying Miracle Mask, and I will get Hazard and Legacy when I finish Miracle Mask.
Yeah.
The problem with these games as well is that if you wait too long, you won't be able to find them anywhere as well. So,
That's a big problem with Nintendo games, especially. But then they have, of course, then you can just revert to the eShop version, which are always way more expensive.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm trying to find these games now. They don't sell them at all at EB Games.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to go to Target or something to find some of them. But I'm looking on eBay, and because they're rare to find now, the price has gone up like $10, $15.
Yeah.
So it's going to be expensive to try and get these games. But right now, I don't want to get them because I've got so much to play. But if I wait a year from now, it's just going to be even more expensive. And I'm probably never going to get a chance to go back and do these games.
So many problems.
It is.
No, Professor Layton, another series I would have liked to continue because I got the second game in the series back on Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
Nintendo DS, sorry. It was called Pandora's Box or something?
I think that's it.
I love that game.
Because Miracle Mask is the 5th game.
Okay.
And you've got the 2nd.
Yes. I absolutely love that game. I've played through it maybe 3 times. And I just don't know why I didn't continue on with the series.
I wish they had a trilogy collection for the 3DS.
Yeah.
Like the original trilogy.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Because there's only 2 on the 3DS. There's 4 on the normal DS.
Okay.
But, the puzzles are just awesome, hey?
They're great, yeah.
Like, some of them are just, the answer's right there, and you just can't get it.
That's it. Like, the answer's right. You have all the assets right in front of you.
It's right there.
It's just
they're so simple, but they're so challenging.
Yeah.
And when you do, because I've solved close to 40 puzzles now. I've never looked at any strategy guide or looked it up on the internet. I've solved them all by myself. Some of them I've had to use like all the hints that you get in the game. But that's why, because they're so challenging, when you do solve it, it's so, satisfying.
Yeah, so rewarding.
Yeah.
I had the same experience with Portal 2 as well.
Oh, yeah.
Towards the end, I did have to look up the answers, unfortunately, because I just wanted to blast through it. I got really impatient. But maybe in the first 3/4 of the game, because the puzzles are just right there in that one room.
Yeah.
It has everything that you need to solve it. And then when you eventually find out the end, figure it out, you're just like, oh yeah, of course.
Of course, yeah. It's like so simple.
Yeah.
I was doing a puzzle last night just before I went to bed, and this puzzle was it was like a shooting target practice. You know how you had the circle, right? And on the outside you get 5 points if you shoot that bit.
Okay.
Inside you get 15 points. No. On the outside you get 5. Then inside 35. Inside that 40. Inside that 75. And inside that 100.
Okay.
He had 5 shots to do, and he got 100 points. So try and work it out. Every single time I worked it out, I always got to 90 or 95. I could never get to 100, right? And I sat there for like 15 minutes, like I, got a piece of paper out trying to do sums and everything. Nothing worked out to 100. I could not understand it. And I was literally laughing out loud because I was so bewildered by this. But then in the end, I figured out that 4 of his shots, he actually missed completely.
Oh.
And only 1 of his shots hit, but it got the 100.
Okay, yeah.
It's just so simple, but it's like,
Yeah, that's the last thing.
Yeah. It's so annoying. But yeah, it's really good. And I think that's maybe similar to Phoenix Wright. As in when you actually solve their cases, you get that sort of satisfying feeling as well.
Yeah.
Because it is quite challenging as well.
Yeah.
So that's maybe sort of why I want to get into that. But I mean, Phoenix Wright is one of those games where you have to sit there with nothing else around you and you have to really concentrate on everything and listen and watch. So, I mean, that's sometimes why it's put me off, because sometimes I just want to sit back and just put on some music or something and play a 3DS game.
But that's why I compare it to a TV show. When you're watching a TV show, you don't do anything else.
You don't do anything else, yeah. Another game on my list is Rune Factory. Do you know about this one?
No.
So Rune Factory 4 is the only game to make the 3DS, but it's only downloadable. And the other 3 games are on the DS. These are RPGs. They're Harvest Moon titles, but they're sort of a different kind of Harvest Moon. So Harvest Moon is that farming simulator. Rune Factory is the farming as well as you get to do some fighting.
Okay.
This is similar to Fantasy Life.
Yeah.
But Rune Factory 4 is something that's really it's got a really cult audience who just love it. And I don't understand why it doesn't have a physical release. It's only eShop. But this is something that's been on my list for a while just to pick up, because I've always been interested in the Harvest Moon series until I got Story of Seasons, because apparently Story of Seasons was one of the best Harvest Moon out there, but it was just crap. So it's sort of turned me off a little bit of Rune Factory, because Rune Factory is Harvest Moon plus fighting, RPG fighting stuff. So, but that's something I've missed completely as well. But since that is only downloadable, that's an option there for me later on. Anyway,
Yeah.
So
there's that game, got a little off topic here, that everyone's been talking about for a couple of months now, called Stardew Valley. It's a Steam game.
Yeah.
That pretty much just looks like Animal Crossing cross Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of Terraria in there as well, but it's really piqued my interest, and I hope it gets some ports to some consoles, because it's only on Steam at the moment.
3DS, like a good port for that.
3DS, I would even play it on my Xbox.
Oh yeah.
Like it just because it's sold like 1 million copies or whatever in such a small amount of time. It seems like because of its success, they could get some ports. So yeah, hopefully, I don't know.
I've got 3 more games on my list, and I've sort of combined these games because they're very similar, and they came out very recently, so 2015 and one in late 2014. The 3 games I've put on the list are JRPGs, Lord of Magna, Stellar Glow, and The Legend of Legacy.
I've heard of Stellar Glow, but not the other 2.
They're very similar. They're just sort of these JRPGs. I'd like to pick them up because they are JRPGs. They're big games, and when would I have time to play these when all the other stuff I've got to play? So, and again, I just love playing a huge RPG on the 3DS because it's a handheld. You can take it, and you can play this huge RPG. So yeah, there are 3 other games that I'd like to sort of get into, but don't know if I ever will.
I don't think you will.
No. So yeah, they're the list of games that I really want to get into, but I probably never will. But also on that list, I had Zero Escape. You know, the game I told you about, Zero Time Dilemma.
Yes.
The one about Saul. So I really want to pick that one up, the one that I watched that review on, because it looks awesome.
Is it 3DS?
It's 3DS, yeah. But I couldn't find it anywhere to buy. I looked on eBay, and it's available there, but yeah, it's pretty expensive as well, so because it's rare.
Yeah.
So yeah, any games that you think you'll never get into but you want to?
Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah, Monster Hunter, yeah. But you did pick that up.
I did. I tried. I didn't try as hard as I could, but from what I did try, it is just... It's probably like the most biggest, daunting game I've ever touched in my life.
And are you thinking the same as me? Like, who has the time?
Yeah, who has the time?
Yeah.
No one has the time.
Yeah.
The reason I got into it was... I was thinking about it for ages, and then my friend recommended it to me because he and 2 other friends have it as well.
Yeah.
And then you can join a party of... You can have a party of 4. So I would have been the 4th person.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. This game is built for friends. I'd jump in with already experienced players who can teach me. It was good, but since they have already sunk 300 to 400 hours into the game, respectively, I was going into it like they were talking like it was like learning a new language.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I was so overwhelmed that I just like no.
Yeah.
So, maybe
I think those games, as they go on, they're getting more accessible as well. So wait for Generations, see if that's a bit more accessible.
Maybe, but that obviously they're still taking over their knowledge from 4 Ultimate, and then I'm taking over the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not too sure still yet. Another series is Fire Emblem. I've never... a series I still have yet to put so many hours into. I'm picking up the new one. Absolutely, I'm picking up the new one. But I've seen Awakening on special recently, and I've tried to play it. You own the copy. I've tried to play it twice now, and
it's so good.
I know it's good. I
always regret not getting into it earlier, like playing the other ones. But then Awakening is one of the best ones for a lot of people because it is so accessible. Like the other ones don't really give you the option to turn off permadeath and everything. So that's why Awakening is a really good place to start.
Yeah. I want to see how these new ones go.
Yeah. But, if you play the new ones, it's probably going to be hard to go back to Awakening just because they're going to add lots of new things and to make it better and everything.
For sure. And that's why I like how they've got three of these new ones.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
So I start with the easiest one, Birthright. I move on to Conquest and then...
Revelations.
Yeah. If I really get into it.
Yeah.
There were some more I was just thinking of, but...
I mean, some of them I have said for you, like Phoenix Wright. You wanted to get into Phoenix Wright
as well. Yeah. Professor Layton, like you were saying. Past the list over, there might be something just there. Might be something I could... I mean, off the top of my... Yeah. I suppose even Dragon Quest games...
Well, we haven't really had an opportunity to do that. There's no Dragon Quest game available for the 3DS.
Yeah.
There is for the DS. Did you get any on the DS?
You just recently, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, just picked it up pretty cheap.
Do you sort of regret not getting into any Sonic games?
Nope.
Nah, neither do I.
Sonic is dumb.
Yeah.
I guess that's it, really. I really just did get everything that I kind of wanted. I suppose all the games we talk about is 3DS because Wii U games, I've pretty much picked up every single Wii U
one that you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just so much for the 3DS.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, another game. People say this. People report this all the time. Minecraft.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then it was just recently reported that Minecraft sells 100,000 copies in a week. And people were like, how don't people own Minecraft yet? I don't own Minecraft.
Yeah.
And then yet I'm only that one person contributing to that number.
Mm.
And then how do 100,000 people buy it in a week?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So Minecraft, I'm still, every single week I'm like, yeah, I'm really into this. And then the next week I'm like, I would never play this.
I was actually, I saw a kid playing it the other day and on the iPad. And he was sort of walking around his own thing that he built. And I'm like, did you build this? And he's like, yeah. And it was like the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. Like the amount of detail into this thing he built. And he's like a 10-year-old kid.
Mm.
Just imagine the things that we could build if we put enough time into it, you know? And that's on the iPad as well.
I don't know. If I was to try and build, I don't have that creative edge to me. It's kids who can just get the most imagination because they can have the most patience and
yeah
they can just sit there for hours just building, mining, and chipping away. Yeah, I don't know.
Whereas we've got shit to do.
Exactly. But it's also a game too where it's perfect for Wii U because you play on the iPad, you play on the gamepad, but you can have something else going on the TV.
Yeah.
So I could finish a whole TV series while I'm just mining away just on the gamepad. So I've thought about that too.
Yeah.
So
because doing something else while playing the game is always very satisfying because you're not just sitting there and playing the game.
Yeah.
You're doing two things.
Minecraft is very bad. There's no music happening. There's no dialogue. It's just so I could blast through a whole TV series while I build thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I still don't know what you do.
Not a in-depth TV series. Like you're not going to watch Breaking Bad and do that. You got to watch something light.
Sure.
Simpsons or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but of course there's also the things like I've tried to jump into Minecraft tutorials. Like people have whole video series of like what you're pretty much supposed to do in your first like 10 hours of the game, and that leads you along for the rest of your time.
Oh yeah.
But everyone has different strategies into it, and
you'll find your own way if you sort of start playing it. But
yeah,
I mean, you struggled to make a Mario Maker course, so it's probably not the right game for you.
Oh man, Mario Maker, man, I've hardly touched the game, unfortunately. I was so excited for it, and I've only put maybe like 10 hours into it.
And all that is just playing other people's courses.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's all I can really think of off the top of my head. Well, I guess not a series, but a game I haven't touched is the latest Mario Tennis.
Oh yeah,
Wii U, only because it's so critically panned, but it looks so good.
I've told you from the beginning you have to get it. Hey,
I will get it. Yeah.
Just because, I mean, it does look amazing, and I mean, how bad could it be? It's a Mario Tennis game.
Yeah.
I know it lacks some features, like you can't do that full competition like you can with the other games, which is really stupid. But it's still got that Mario Tennis gameplay. I mean, it'll be great to play some multiplayer on it.
Yeah.
Like we used to when we used to play it on the Nintendo 64 one.
Yep.
But yeah.
Nope. That's all. Yep. That's all for me.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our show. Remember to find us on iTunes and also on YouTube. I haven't actually uploaded our last podcast on YouTube. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So I'll probably try and do both at once. Yeah, that's it. So we'll see you hopefully next week.
Yeah, well, it's getting time soon, as we said, talk about E3.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get some E3 things planned. But
yeah. Maybe even starting next week or the week after when we get actually back into our normal show routine.
Yep.
But I liked this show, just doing 3 topics.
It was good. We can talk about Nintendo all day.
Yeah. Maybe next week as well, if we've got some more Nintendo things to talk about, we might come back and just do that as well.
Yep.
Cool. All right, well, see you then.